Hello scrapbookers, this is Megan and I am back today with my second layout in this fun new series called Mojo-Busters. And I'm doing this series with Hannah Lemieux, Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, and Caddy Miranda. And this week's challenge was given to us by Hannah. So she is often inspired by her photos, so she challenged us to pick some photos and make a layout inspired by the photos. So here you can see I'm going through my fancy free collection or my paper pad, and the photos that I picked out for this they inspired me so much, and I'm super excited about how this layout turned out, because at first I was kind of like not really sure how I was gonna like it and how it was gonna work, but these photos, if you can't tell, are pictures of my son Brennan when he was 2, and he was the youngest, and he had to watch his older brother go to preschool, and Brennan was stuck at home with me, so he didn't get to go to school, so he was so super sad. And is it weird that I love these photos? I always feel so weird saying that these are some of my favorite photos because it shows real life. And he was just so sad and so upset that he couldn't go to school with his brother and, partake of all of the fun going on at school. So he has these huge tears just rolling down his cheeks. So I have that big photo that I didn't cut down at all. It's a 4x6 and it's zoomed in on his face. And you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see it very well in the video, but in person you can kind of see the huge tear rolling down his cheek. And so these photos, they're just some of my favorite photos. I don't know if that's weird, but I just love real life, real emotional photos. So here I decided to go with the Fancy Free collection, which I know is a very bright collection. It's a very happy collection, and being bright and happy doesn't really reflect these photos, but I really liked the colors, the blues and the grays and the yellows, especially since he's wearing blues and greens and teals and things like that. So here I'm just cutting off a few. I think I'm going to do 2 of these circles that have words in them. So that dark gray one says chill out, and then the light gray one says oh gosh. So here I'm pulling out my Avalicious Alpha. I'm not sure what it's called, but I got it in I think that was a click kit from last year, and I never used it. So I'm pulling out the words poor Brinny, and I'm thinking that that's going to be my title. I started making this layout on Sunday, and in a moment I'm going to pull everything off, and I'm going to pick out this stencil, and it's kind of a sunburst stencil. And this isn't a sunny moment, but to me, these little stencil markings, whatever you call them, cutouts, they look like raindrops to me. So I'm thinking that the whole theme of, crying and rain and just being gloomy, I'm trying to portray that with this layout, but then also be like fun at the same time. I don't know if that makes any sense whatsoever. So here I'm not going to use the whole stencil. I'm just going to use this little corner in a few different areas on my layout. And I am using a Textures from Shimmers Paint, and it's called, let's see. Of course, I put it away and I have no idea where it is. Okay, let's see. It's called Textures, and it's the Tide That Binds. And this is one of my favorite colors. I love all of the teal colors that they have. Okay, so I am going to set my layout aside. I'm going to clean it all off, and then I am going to come back, and it's actually going to be a couple days later. So here you can see it's all dry and I'm ready to get started. And I've actually lost a couple pieces along the way. So I could not find the other half of that title. So I was like, well, crap, what am I going to do? So here I'm just going to kind of start doing the embellishing. So I'm pulling out a bunch of pieces from some of my Citrus Twist kit embellishment collections from the summer. And one of the things that I really like about Citrus Twist is that they print off a sheet of labels and they send them to you with every kit. So I'm going to use a few different labels from their summer collection kits. And I apologize if you can hear my dog. He's sitting right outside my door because I shut him out and he's upset with me. Okay, so I'm still going through all of this. I might cut some of this out because I think I take forever to pick out some choices. Okay, so now you can see I've picked out some embellishment pieces and I kind of have them spread all over my layout. I decided to use this cute little banner that said best day ever, but then I also had a black strip that said worst on it from one of the Citrus Twist labels. So I covered up the best with that pink little, I don't even know what that's called, pink little flower. And so now it says worst day ever. I just thought that was so super cute. So now here I'm just going to start gluing things down, trying to figure out the best placement for everything. I have this little tag that says true life, true story, and I really wanted to include it on this layout, but I just could not figure out where to put it. But I do like this little embellishment cluster down there in the bottom right hand corner. So I am going to glue all of those pieces down. And let's see, what else am I going to do? Oh, I found some wood veneer stars, and so I'm just going to glue those in 2 areas on the layout. And I'm still messing with that tag. I just could not find the right place for it. So I stick it there and I kind of like it, but I'm not set on it. So now I'm just going to glue down these wood veneer stars. I'm going to glue down that true life, true story piece, but it's going to stay there, but I'm going to kind of change it up a little bit. Because you can see I'm kind of fiddling with it and not very happy and trying to figure out what I want to do. So I'm going to focus on that half circle up at the top that says, oh gosh. And this is my son Brennan, and when he was about 2 years old, his nickname used to be Brinny, because it was easier for Jonas to say Brinny than Brennan. And Jonas is my oldest. So I'm going to use these pink alphas and I'm going to write out his nickname. I'm also going to stamp with the Studio Calico roller date stamp. I'm going to stamp the date on that tag right there to the right of the photos. And I think that cluster is pretty much done. So now I'm going to work on that top little embellishment piece. At first I was thinking that this was going to be my title. Oh gosh, Brennan. Because I kind of thought that was cute and funny and fun. Because it's just one of those memories that's just like, oh, poor kid. Like, oh, it's so silly that he's crying. He doesn't get to go to school, but it's so cute and, you know, all of that fun stuff. So, yeah. Is it mean of me to find happiness in my son's pain? I'm not doing it meanly. I just think he's a funny boy. At the time, it was the end of the world to him. Okay, so now here I am going to decide to add this glassine bag that the stars came in. And I'm going to do a little bit of journaling. I'm going to find a card or a tag, and I'm going to cut it down to fit in that bag. And then I'm going to eventually do my journaling. The photos don't reflect the journaling because I haven't done the journaling. I need to figure out what I want to do. I also wanted to add some pink down in this bottom right hand corner cluster because I didn't have any pink, but there was pink up in the other two cluster areas. So I added a couple pink stars down there at the bottom, and I'm going to fiddle and play around with those and move them around. So here's where I'm going to measure this tag, and I'm going to cut it down, and the little what is that? The cutout so that you could put like ribbon or twine or something in that tag. It was on the far end of it. So what I'm going to do, and it looked kind of funky. So I thought, okay, I'll cover it up with a tag, but I couldn't, I couldn't make it look good. Not a tag, a star. I was going to cover it up with one of those stars. But then I decided, okay, I'm just going to make a new hole, and I didn't have quite the same size of hole, but it turned out to look okay. So now I'm just cutting off some of this yellow twine. It's white and yellow twine, and I just tied it into a pretty little bow, and I'm going to eventually do my journaling on there. So now I'm just kind of assessing the layout. It feels like it's missing something. So I'm going to put on some of this Heidi Swapp Color Shine in teal. I kind of wish I hadn't done that color. I don't really like it. So I'm going to also pull out some, oh goodness, what is it? Vibes from Shimmer's Paints. And I'm going to use I think it's Black Dawn color. So here I'm going and just splattering in a few different places on the layout with this black. And it looks okay, but the layout still doesn't look finished. So I'm going to walk away and come back a little bit later, and I'm going to decide to do a big title instead of just having the little title up in that corner. So I pulled out a few different alphas from my stash. So I have this Dear Lizzie one. This is one of my favorite layouts. I really love this, alphas. I really love this alpha. And so I sat and thought for a while because I was like, well, what if I did a big title and then talking about the photos? So I was thinking, well, what are these photos about? What inspired me to use these photos? Well, obviously my favorite part of these photos are the big, huge tears that are streaming down Brennan's face. So I've always talked about how he has big, huge crocodile tears. Like, I've always thought it was so funny just how huge his crocodile tears are. Because I've been around kids my whole life. I had a lot of siblings. I've had a lot of friends with siblings and, cousins and everything. And I've never seen kids cry with such huge tears. So I decided to go with Big, Huge Crocodile Tears as my title. And I absolutely love how it turned out. I think it turned out so awesome. So I guess that's just another way that you can incorporate a title by using your photos. And because I was just at a loss. I'm horrible at naming my layouts. I always do the obvious. I always do, cute Brinny, or like I was going to do poor Brinny, or, whatever, sad Brinny. Like, I always stick to the obvious. But this time, since I was focusing on getting my inspiration from the photos, I was able to turn my mind around and be like, okay, what could these photos possibly talk about in a title? And that's what helped me decide to go with Big, Huge Crocodile Tears. And so it was kind of exciting for me to realize that I could name my layout and get inspiration for my layout from my photos, which is normal, right? But I didn't want it to just be a generic title. My husband always teases me that I make these so boring and generic titles and I don't have fun with it. So this layout was so fun to just sit and think, okay, these photos are about big, huge crocodile tears. That is what my title's going to be. So it just worked out. Sorry, that was a huge, long explanation, but I was really excited after I decided to go with this title, and I absolutely love how this layout turned out. It was a lot of fun to get inspiration from my photos, because usually I don't focus on my photos. Like, I love picking out my photos and scrapbooking them, but usually I focus on products or, a sketch or scrap lifting or something like that. I don't focus on my photos and getting inspiration from them. So this layout was a lot of fun for me to do. So here you can see I am just gluing down my alphas because this alphabet is chipboard, so it doesn't like to stay down very well. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this layout, and make sure to go on over to Christy, Hannah, and Caddy's channels to check out their layouts as well. We are having so much fun with this new challenge series for us. I hope that you can jump in and join us, and if you do, please leave comments if you post videos or pictures to a gallery or anything like that. We would love to see how you are being inspired by these challenges as well. Because we're not just doing these challenges for us. We're doing these challenges to help you guys with your mojo and to hopefully inspire you to work on your mojo, I guess. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I will see you next time. Bye!